Alright, so here's kind of an update, bro. So I'm gonna start off with let's see, the Cloud City Sabers build. It's going well. I just need to do the aluminum piece here, and then I restarted the core from a brand new one. Just because that, the threading issue that I had where the tap got stuck. So I am gonna redo the threading here. So this is a brand new piece that I recut. As you can see, it's ridiculously thick. I was surprised how thick that is, and what a real pain in the ass it is to make these cuts as cleanly as you can get them. So yeah, so I modified the top here to kind of to get it properly lined up with with the grip, and so when the shroud is on, it's good to go. So it's lined up nicely. I have the hex screw holes screwed out. I do have the mounting holes for the Cloud City box done, and they mounts perfectly. I got to I got to cut a hole for the wire channels, and then I also have to cut a channel here for the wires and drill a hole to pass wires through from the base of the crystal chamber. The crystal chamber itself, obviously I got this piece. You wanted me to add the slit like I have in mine, and you wanted to spin it around so it lights the back. What I'm thinking is you'll probably want to JB weld this down here, because he doesn't give much depth down here. What I was able to do, if this was a standard 2.5 or 2.0 core, it's got depth in here to where I could actually drill out a hole for a set screw, and I wouldn't have to cut this so short, because this is, I shaved off quite a bit on the bottom here to get this to sit nice and flat and as deeply as possible in here. So what I would do is orient this the way that you want it with the slit. I'm not going to JB weld it or fix it permanently for you, because I want you to be able to do what you want to do with it. And then once you're happy with where it is, lock it into place. And then, the meshing for the back. This is not the end piece that I'm working with, so that's why it's actually really, really short. It's not going to be the end piece that it's going to be finally, but so that's in work as well. So really the remainder of this build is going to be finishing up the channel for the wires for the control box, and then the rods, redoing the rods. Again, I was 3 rods deep on the other one. I was almost done with it. So redoing the rods, finishing up the crystal chamber itself, the top, and then the meshing, and then the aluminum strip. And I think this one's pretty much about done. So this one's going pretty well. I did take a break from this build when I got the cargo pieces for the 2.5 build, but interestingly enough, I was kind of surprised, because other cargo pommels that I've worked with have sat perfectly right in there with a 2.0 grip or a 2.5 grip. This one, and I thought at first that this was a MHS sized, that I was mistaken. So, but it's not. It's too big for MHS. So I know he did, target the core band, the grip, but as you can see, it doesn't, it doesn't fit in there. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of sanding down the side, and it's starting to get in there a little more. So if I take off some more of the finish, I'd be able to slide it in. But as I was doing this, I wanted to see if this was MHS sized. So I thought, you know, maybe check out the old grip that Chris Sharp was working with and see what I could do with that. So what I did was I torched the shit out of it and I got the grips off. And I cleaned it up quite a bit. I took off all the JB Weld that he'd put on there. So I actually was able to salvage this entire grip. And as you can see, I even have the brass piece that I was able to get out of here. So, you know, it just gets epoxied in there and you're good to go. So I know how much you love this pommel, so you can, you know, we can salvage this if you'd like, if you want to go this route. As far as the grip itself, you can see kind of the finishes kind of a little marred. It's not that shiny, perfect, you know, even coating of the standard grip anymore. Just, you know, due to the fact that I had to remove the JB Weld that was caked all over the place. But again, that said, and there's no way to get this pommel off. It's, you know, it's JB welded down in there. I tried it from both angles. I torched the shit out of it, you know, almost burnt my hands, and there's just no way to get this pommel back off. So that's on there. Otherwise, I probably would look to shorten, you know, shorten the grip a little bit to where it, you know, it matches the length of a Corbanth grip. But anyway, we could go that route if you'd like. There's really two different approaches, and I'll give you a call and we can talk about this a little later. But so, you know, we could take these pieces that he was working with and actually line them up correctly, so they're not, you know, they're not crooked the way that they were JB welded on before, and that there's not JB weld caked all over the place. You know, I do it you know, much cleaner. So I do have those grips, and then just repaint them black, because I assume you're going to weather this anyway, or you asked me, you know, if I'd be able to weather it. So, you know, the finish doesn't really, you know, that's not really a big deal. But again, that said, that's another way to go, or, you know, continue trying to modify the finish on this to get this in there. If nothing else, this will press fit. You know, I can get it in there with force. I just would prefer not to. I prefer it to slide in, you know, snugly, and then I could, you know, I could JB weld it or something myself, just for peace of mind. Either way, you know, we'll talk about that. But I also did want to show you the progress on the 2.5 shroud. So this is the one that Chris Sharp had done. You know, just a little, you know, little less than precise for my liking. He bored out those, you know, those holes quite a bit to try to make those screws work. You know, his notches are pretty plain Jane, and then you'd said the shroud was a little long for your liking, so you wanted to shorten that up. So here's your 1 inch. So as it goes on, let's see, line it up right. So it goes down here. I took it up probably about, I don't know, is that about a centimeter or so. On the one that I did for you here, I actually already mounted the control box, and I did the Mythos V5 cut here, which I'll probably end up doing on your CCS one. I think you wanted both. I initially had done kind of the standard cut, but you know, I can change that to the Mythos cut. But anyway, so again, it's a shorter shroud. I can't mount it currently because these screws block the 1 inch blade holder. If this was a 2.5 or a 2.0, then those screws wouldn't matter. But so I'm gonna shorten these screws a little bit so that they'll seat a little more flush. As you can see, when I mounted the box, I'm gonna try and get a good angle. This is what I was talking about with his latest control box. It's not as the curvature isn't as smooth as previous ones that I've seen, or as the like I said, the Ray one. You know, it's very the Ray one is a lot more flush when it sits on it. It's pretty flush on the sides. I didn't modify this box at all, other than, you know, the drilling and tapping the screws for the 440 screws to mount it. But again, this is the 2.5 one. It's got the Mythos cuts on either side, and it's relatively shorter, a shorter shroud. So if I hold it up to the core, or let me hold it up to the previous, so you'll see if I can get it lined up. You'll see it's relatively shorter. Trying to get a good shot. So it matches more that Mythos. That was loud. It matches more that Mythos style. And if I line it up here, it's gonna come about there. And again, I can't slide. I should have taken the control box off so I could slide it on. But when it goes on, it'll be a little bit shorter. So it again, I took the pictures of the Mythos lightsaber and from Roland, and I kind of did my best judgment on the length of the shroud based off of his, especially where this the chamber ring comes into play and where it meets the shroud. So here, yeah, I'm gonna add the hex screws, and then again shorten these screws so they're a little more flush, and it can mount over this, and then add the channel for the switches, and this is good to go. So yep, making progress. I know it's been, you know, little less than stellar, especially with the Cloud City Sabers core issue with the tap breaking. But again, as you can see, I went again at another one, and we're good to go. We're on pace there. It's cut. We're back to where, you know, near back to where we were. I was, you know, gonna mount those bars and, you know, get it back going. So, but yeah, making progress, and I will talk to you soon. We'll decide the route you want to go with these guys. And I know that, so another question would be, you know, if you wanted to reuse these or not reuse these, reuse this and maybe go with the brass instead, which are considerably thinner. This is like a 1/8. I think the brass are 1/16, so they're smaller, they're thinner. As you can see, let me see if I can compare it to, so I have this guy. You can see how much bigger these bars are, which is cool. It's a good look. I think that a lot of Cargill's stuff has the thicker bars, which I think look cool, but it's definitely a difference. But anyway, so we'll talk soon. I just wanted to give you a quick video update on where I was before I passed out tonight. I'm about to go to sleep, but just put the kids down. And we're headed to Disneyland Monday morning, and I don't think I'll get much done at all on Easter Sunday. So again, just wanted to give you a, kind of a progress report, heads up, and that's about it. So I initially quoted you that I'd be able to get the Cloud City Sabers done mid-April, which would have been a few days ago. I did hit that snag with the tap. I think that had that not happened, I probably would be shipping it back to you. Probably would have shipped it back to you today maybe, but that really threw me for a loop. I had to redo the cuts, and again, these cuts they take a while. It's all I got is a Dremel. I don't have a bandsaw. I don't have anything like that I can really get in there. But for a Dremel, it's pretty damn clean. It just takes a while. So that threw me back a little bit. But I'm getting there. Definitely gonna get you where you want to be. And so with that said, while I was waiting on that, I did start working on the 2.5. So I'm making progress here as well, getting this stuff done. And this was, you know, I quoted you mid-May for this, and I think that I'll be able to get both out definitely by mid-May without any issue, if not sooner. So I will talk to you soon. I'll give you a call probably when I get back from Disneyland, and we will hash out the decisions you want to make and finish these couple bad boys up. All right, I'll talk to you later.